Everybody save the date, Saturday, October 18th. The 94 championship team is going to be the team inductee 2025 Bonner Hall of Fame. It's about damn time. Thank you to John Rufo for nominating us. Good job, John.
Game of the week is the Starter Showcase Big Game, and it comes from the Catholic League, as Monsignor Bonner took on Archbishop Carroll for the Catholic League title.
Catholic League championship game tonight between Monsignor Bonner and Archbishop Carroll.
Catholic League championship, Bonner versus Carroll.
Defense has been Carroll's strong point all season, and they get an added bonus tonight with the return of all-Catholic lineman Andrew Garchinski. They will have their hands full tonight as Bonner comes in averaging over 30 points per game while riding a 10-game win streak. Bonner's offense showed their versatility from the opening possession. First, quarterback Mike Mitros hits Anthony Beck for 15 yards. Then Mitros uses his feet as he rolls right, breaks a few tackles, and he's gone. It's 7-0 Bonner at the end of the first quarter. The second half was just too much Mitros. First possession of the third quarter, Mitros breaks free. And oh my, it's Mike Mitros. 36 yards for the score, and it's 14-0. Carroll was on the ropes, and after this fumble by Corey Hill gave Bonner the ball back, Mitros delivers the knockout punch. On the very next play, he drops in the pocket and goes deep, finding Frank Serratori in stride. The play is good for 67 yards, and it's 21-0 Bonner. Bonner's night was complete when number 51, Greg Fisher, recovers a Carroll fumble late in the game to seal the victory, as Bonner fans rush the field to celebrate their 21-0 win over Carroll.
Welcome. We're here to talk about the 1994 Monsignor Bonner Catholic League Championship football team. We have Dave Bradley, first team All-Catholic running back here. Tom Rapisa, first team All-Catholic linebacker, guard, jack of all trades. Head coach Stumpy Coyne, first team All-Catholic safety Pat McKenna, and defensive line coach and an O'Hara grad. We won't get too much into that. Pat Coyne here.
I think the disappointment of the season, coming in with high expectations in '93, was really a springboard to motivate us, because we never wanted to have that feeling again. Right. And I think that translated into the off season. We wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Yeah. And I think if there's anything good that came out of '93 is we're not on anybody's radar heading into '94. So the Carroll team of mostly juniors gets to the championship game, and they're coming into '94. They're the favorites, and there's stories, right, about certain newspaper writers. Yes. And comments about Carroll being the heavy favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Carroll had probably 4 Division I players coming back. So the Daily Times used to have a thing, Chester the Barber, and Chester the Barber would give the preview and essentially said it would be Carroll and the rest of the Southern Division would be the 7 Dwarves.
I think when, looking back at the lineups, like 20 of the 22 starters are seniors. Turnaround, right? Let's talk about, we had a coaching staff that wanted to play the best, right? So we had veteran head coach and Stump. We had veteran coordinators and Wally Ratecki, Jerry Hunt, Dennis Keegan, Tush Milson coaching special teams. And then we had also a mix of a lot of younger coaches that we could really relate to, if you guys can comment on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I'll just say, really influential for me was my running back coach, who was my coach since freshman year, Marty Cole. To this day, I think he's a tremendous coach, great guy.
I think the big thing, we love playing for Stump. We really appreciate it. We watched him junior year and navigate a tough situation, and we had a lot of confidence in him. And then, we had confidence in our coaching staff, from Wally Ratecki to Dennis Keegan to all the assistant coaches. We always felt like they were going to put us in the best position to win.
I think we didn't appreciate at the time how much time they put into film study, staying afterwards, breaking things down. I think afterwards we appreciate it way more when we graduated and really understood. But even at that time, I think we got along so well with these guys. We respected them. They were a little bit close, some of them to us in age, but they, as much as we went through junior year to where we were senior year, it was great staff altogether.
We had a great mix of young, seasoned and new coaches, but like family without family members being involved. Like,
That's a great point.
I think more players from our team came back to coach in some capacity than didn't. And that really, kudos to you, Coach, with just that atmosphere you built for, your coaching staff. And we became a family.
Everybody knows Mitros. Everybody knows Beck, Hemmer, Orpeza, McKenna. The role players that we had were fantastic. And I would say, just in our breadth of coaching there were guys on this team that if they were born 2 years before or 2 years after, would have played some nice roles. Like, look at our receiving core. We have 3 receivers who are 6'3" and the sprint champ. They're our top 4 receivers. And that's how you win games, right? You win games by everyone tugging the rope in the same direction. Mm-hmm. And there was a ton of talent, but I don't really, you guys would know better in the locker room. I don't remember too many gripes or I don't remember a parent once saying to us, why isn't little Johnny playing this week? I don't remember any of that. I just kind of remember as this thing started to roll, it was just, the momentum was rolling all in the same direction. Everyone was pulling the rope.
All right, so we get out of, we escaped the McDevitt game with a victory, and now here we go. We're rolling into the championship game, a cold Friday night in December versus Carroll.
Where it got us to motivation-wise, and we were pretty motivated going into that game. However, it took us to the next level. I remember leaving that locker room, again, running across the parking lot, being winded probably a little bit, and running into the stadium. And again, Carroll's walking out onto the field. And at that point, it was just in my mind that we won that game because the energy that we came out of Pecco's speech and just it put us, like, everybody on point, ready to go at that.
But to Carroll's credit, they were a much better team in that championship game than they were in the regular season.
Yes, they were.
Winning a championship at Bonner is something that was totally unique. The lead up into the game, you guys had some pressure on you from outside folks, right? Because the alumni cares. It's like you hear of like winning a championship in Philadelphia. Like athletes like Chris Long says that it's special to win it. Winning a championship at Bonner is special because the alumni is fantastic, right? So, I mean, that game was unbelievably attended, and some people didn't get into the third quarter.
So big plays in that game by, Catholic League MVP, first team All-State, Mike Mitros, and all the top players. A pass deflection by Greg Bernhardt right at the end of halftime where they were potentially going to, right at the end of the first half where they were potentially going to tie the game up. So we do go into halftime up, but it's a close game. And then in the second half, big play I recall is the bomb from Mike Mitros to Frank Serratore.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that.
That was the exclamation point, in my opinion. I don't think we felt that they weren't going to score going forward here. So once that happened, it was kind of like a sigh and air of relief with it. But what a play. I mean, just everything that season kind of wrapped up in one play.
It had to be a nightmare for other teams. There's a lot to worry about in that team.
In that championship game, like people talk about the Eagles, the dagger. Well, Frank Serratore's play, that's Bonner's dagger, right? Yeah. Right after a turnover, Wally immediately dialed up. It wasn't an audible. He wanted Frank on that post. That was the ball game.
Yeah, people were waiting since 1968 to even be back at a game
1960.
Like that. Well, 60 is when they won it, right?
Yes.
But they were, I think, in it in 68 and they lost. But yeah, it was just a huge moment, for our program. We got it done. I mean, I think one of the great things about that game, obviously Mitros, 3-year starter. He runs for 2 touchdowns. He throws a long, was kind of like maybe a signature moment for a career that he had. But the defense, we were known because Hemmert's setting records and all these people setting records, Mitros. But maybe an offensive team, maybe if teams maybe looked at us because people back then didn't pass that much, as the way they do nowadays. We passed a lot. We were kind of like, unusual. But the defense that game, to shut out a team, like you mentioned earlier, had, 4 D1 type players and a lot of contributing, with experience too. And to shut them out in the biggest game of their career, they couldn't come up with one scheme. I mean, they might have even gotten inside the 30-yard line that game. I don't know. They weren't on the goal line at any time.
There was a little bit of bending, but not breaking in that game.
Well,
we got some turnovers.
Yeah. Mitros picked up a fumble on about the 8-yard line and ran it back to our 20.
He doesn't remember that you caused the fumble, Pat.
Somebody needs to
Well, I mean, my man was amazing.
Winning a championship was great, but everything you just touched on, the whole legacy and the family, and being able to come back 30 years later and celebrate it again.
Fantastic.
Yeah, somebody said to me, this will be a nice reunion for your 1994 team going into the Hall of Fame. And I said, it's not a reunion for us.
Right.
We're still close and see each other all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Monsignor Bonner Hall of Fame class of 2025, the 1994 Philadelphia Catholic League football champion, Bonner Friars.
He's talking for 10 minutes.
Dave Bradley, saving everyone, Dave Bradley was supposed to do the speech, so we were in for 20 minutes. So I promise you it's only going to be 2 minutes. Just wait till everyone gets up here. Wow, where do I start after that video? I think one of the inductees said a couple inductees ago, the video should be after or before the speech, or after the speech. I'm sorry. But what an honor! I'd like to thank on behalf of the 1994 Catholic Championship team. I would like to thank the Hall of Fame for inducting us into the Hall of Fame for this year. So thank you so much. I know that's how much work goes into it. Mike Melvin being one of the on the team and helping us get inducted. But thank you very much. I've been telling most of these guys for a while now, whoever accepts the award on behalf of the team was clearly the best football player on the team. So some may argue, some may agree with me, so not sure. And now to our coaches. There hasn't been a time in the last 30 years when most of those guys are pretty close. I think 6, 7, 8, maybe these guys were in my wedding. But in the last 30 years, that one of the coaches' names or stories hasn't come up about our championship year. It's usually one of us, mostly Dave Bradley, trying to do an impersonation of Stumpy Coyne, one of his famous pregame speeches. Wally Ritecki, Glenn Mills' speech at halftime. Or us really trying to figure out how many 30 packs of beer you guys really drank after each of our wins. Imagine that happened today. I don't know what would happen. So, but each of us here have our own story for the championship year that made us great football players at the time. But more importantly, each one of you showed us how to become great fathers, husbands, and men. And for the coaches, we are forever grateful, and we thank you so much. So, thank you. That's all. Thanks, Paul.